What's up? What's up? Real MVPs. Dave, they can't hear, so you can tell me whatever you want. They can only hear me. Welcome in to another edition of MVP Sports Live right here on either twitch.tv or you may be watching us on YouTube. However you are watching us, thank you for giving us a little bit of your day, your afternoon, your evening. Dave and I are back with a jam-packed show here to talk about the best sports news. I am joined with my beautiful co-host, Dave Oster.
Hey, everybody.
They heard the pop. I love that they heard the
That's
pop
nice.
because I unmuted you and it's like I heard ding, ding, and I was like, oh shit, I unmuted too soon. And then I heard, and I was like, ooh, that's a good one. It's a real
That's
good
pretty
one.
nice.
But
nice.
Dave, how you feeling? Day post Valentine's Day after Vengeance Day. Are you feeling like Adam Cole today? You feeling like Finn Balor? How you
Hitting some
really
super
feeling?
kicks. I don't know. I'm not feeling.
You got
not
kicked
feeling
in
like
the
I got
jaw
hit by a
last night?
super kick. I'm feeling all right. No complaints here, man. My stomach is back under control for the most part.
So your stomach got hit with sweet chin music.
Yeah, I had sweet chin music to the gut about 16 fucking times in the last 2 days, 3 days.
Ooh,
It's been honestly since Friday.
Yeah.
Like Friday, I wasn't feeling fantastic, but like we were in the mode, so
Yeah.
like I understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, as of I don't know, like 3 o'clock today, I'm starting to calm down a little bit.
Dave, we got a jam-packed show today. A lot of stuff. We got, first off, 4 great fucking topics to talk about. Plus, even at the bottom, I'm taking a thing from Games Live. We're bringing it over here, but I'm calling it a different name. We're going to end the show with some small talk. Some 3 topics I want to at least mention, but they're probably not going to be 20-minute topics. They'll be like under 5-minute, under 2-minute discussions because not a lot needs to be said about them. Before we
got started off with the sad news, though.
I was going to say T's and P's to the family of Vincent Jackson. That I didn't see Discord today, Dave. I saw the text that Brandon Swanson sent me, and he's like, Vincent Jackson's dead. I was like, what the fuck? Vincent Jackson's dead? T's and P's to his family. 38 years old, Dave. Not much older than us. We were watching him when we were kids.
It's true. Not even that long ago, Ricky.
No.
Literally like 4 years ago. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I was actually on Reddit when someone reported it, and it wasn't like the official report, so people were like calling him out as like a liar and all this stuff. And then literally an hour later, it was like TMZ or whoever confirms. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Did not want to believe it, because it's always sad. I mean, especially 38. Like something obviously went terribly wrong there. Hope his family's okay and everything along those lines, but obviously very sad for his loss. And he was one of the best receivers of his era. He's not up there with the big names because of the big numbers in their careers, but he was just a like, fuck it, I'm going deep kind of a guy. And
540 career receptions, just over 9,000 yards on the career. Had 57 tutties, 3-time Pro Bowler, by the way. 2 with the Chargers, 1 with the Buccaneers. His first year with Tampa. Well, they weren't Tampa Bay yet; they were just Tampa Bay at that time. Plus, he has close to one of the best birthdays in the world, January 14th. Right, Capricorns, Dave. You can never have too many Capricorns on this earth. That's what I learned because I am a Capricorn. Got to rep our own. But yeah, sad news for Vincent Jackson. Yet again, Pat McAfee said this a couple weeks ago when I can't remember who it was that passed away, another football player or football mind, and he goes, I hope we never have to do this again. It sucks that we're going to have to do this probably a few more times in our lives, hopefully in our lives, because hopefully we all live fruitful and happy lives. But Dave, before we get into the show, let's get the housekeeping out of the way. First thing, Dave, I have big news in the housekeeping. Something that I'm going to give you all the deets after the show today, but this is going to be even news to you, is this Saturday is going to be, we're going to do a special broadcast on the Twitch to where I've been in the ear of a friend, a dear friend of ours, Dave, a Mr. Brandon Swanson.
Really?
I've been trying to get him to do something that we used to do in the past. That's your hint. Each day I'm going to drop a hint, though, during housekeeping. Your hint today is Brandon and I used to do this many moons ago, and we're going to do it. We're going to do it once a week starting this Saturday. Might be Saturday, might be Friday. Depends on when we want to. Your hint today is that. It'll be join us 1:30 Central Time on Saturday for a special broadcast on MVP Vids on Twitch. That's your hint for today. We're going to be doing this all the time. I can't wait to be doing this with Brandon because, yet again, I miss the old days, Dave, where like I'd have you and Sean, like for me, exactly. Like I'd have you and Sean on Saturdays. I'd have Brandon on Mondays. I'd have Mark on Tuesdays.
Congrats, Mark, on your PS5.
Congrats, Mark, on his PS5. I was talking to Sobe about that. I'm never going to fucking get one, I think. I've just lost all hope to like my PlayStation 5 life. I've become very suicidal with that to where it's like I'm never going to get a PS5.
That's the best thing to say today.
Just going to kill those dreams right now.
Maybe not the best thing to say today.
No, not the right thing. Wrong joke, wrong time. I'm fully aware of that, and I'm going to apologize for that now. But yeah, I'm giving up on getting a PS5, Dave. I'm just never going to get one. Also, we're on Discord. Join the Discord, link down below, or exclamation Discord into Twitch chat to get in on the greatest community in the universe. If you'd like to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids is one way you can do so. And you can be rewarded for supporting us, or you can throw us a sub on Twitch and be rewarded also. Prime Gaming, you do it for free. Bada bing, bada boom. You're rewarded for free. Thank you, Amazon. Also, thank you to our Patreon sponsor, Pat Hill. We're on Twitch, MVP Vids. We're on YouTube, MVP Sports. Make sure you like, follow, sub in all those locations. And thank you to the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. But we will talk about them later. Dave, first thing we are taking a look at today. I will apologize. This is a little bit ESPN-y.
Yeah.
I'm going to throw that out right now. But
I saw.
The sports world has kind of taken this and run with it, Dave, because I believe this was today on Get Up. It was either Get Up or the Keyshawn show, KJZ, that they have, where former GM of the Jets, he was a GM of the Jets in 2006 to 2012. He was a Dolphins executive VP of football operations in 2015 to 2018. He spent 24 seasons in the NFL front offices. He's ESPN's front office insider right now. Mike Tannenbaum threw out a little bit of an idea, Dave. What if we just take the Cowboys? They send Dak to the Texans. Texans send Dak to the Cowboys.
Deshaun.
Deshaun. Bada bing, bada boom. Everyone's happy. Dave, is this just the hype machine ESPN trying to get some traction going on this, or is this something that could realistically happen? And could we see Dak and Deshaun kind of being swapped?
0% chance that happens. I don't know why Mike. I think this is just ESPN being ESPN.
Just telling Mike Tannenbaum what to say.
Yeah, well, they're just out of content. Like Dak Prescott, responded to an Instagram post by his tight end. It was like, sounds good to run it back, like shit like that. So like he's in for Dallas. I expect that to happen. I don't think there's any real traction as to why Dallas would trade away Dak, who, again, they will have to sign him to a large contract for Deshaun, who literally just signed a very large contract. So like, I mean, I don't really know what the advantage there is. Obviously, Dak coming off of an injury, Deshaun injury prone as a quarterback. So you're not really getting a more stable quarterback. I don't know what the benefit long term with that would be.
I think the only benefit is hey, we've got a quarterback locked up for X amount of years. That's the only thing. For me, the only question I have with Dak Prescott is I do not question Dak Prescott's love for Dallas and his wanting to make Dallas and win a Super Bowl in Dallas. My question resides with Jerry Jones. Is he going to, and yet again, we've been on the discussion of they can't seem to get the years right? It was the years, not the pay.
Correct.
That they were discussing. And correct me if I'm wrong, Dak wants less years because he wants to get another payday. Cowboys want more years. So for me, that's the only reason you make this trade. If you're like, hey, you know what? I don't have to worry then about signing a quarterback because I already have a quarterback locked down to a deal in Deshaun Watson. And then the Texans can deal with the fucking issue that they want to do. Which if I'm the Texans right away, it's just like, all right, sign that check, give it to Dak Prescott. We don't care how many years you're here. We just want to lock you down for like some years so we have a quarterback. the question I have is with the Cowboys front office is, are they fully committed to Dak? Because if they were fully committed to Dak, wouldn't the deal be done by now, Dave? Wouldn't the deal be done to where it's like, hey, you know what? It's not ideal, but you're in with us. We're in with you. Here's your contract. Let's go. Let's go win a Super Bowl.
I think a lot of it has got to do with the fine print, especially now with Dak coming off of such a critical injury. I'm sure there are some clauses in there that the Cowboys would like assurances, where Dak would rather not give up free money, and he wants that guaranteed bottom line. So that's really where the fight's coming down to, from what I've heard, is guaranteed money and any asterisk kind of clauses around injuries. So if he's not getting his guaranteed money, obviously he doesn't want to sign a long-term deal. But Jerry Jones obviously wants to have, an answer at quarterback. So it seems like obviously they will tag him, and then they will try to extend him into or get him into signing said long-term deal. I don't think this is a situation where, they're really going to argue too much. The money they're about right at. Like, I think that's no longer a question of like, hey, are you a $35 million a year quarterback or are you a $40 million a year quarterback? Like, they know what they have to pay.
He's a franchise guy. Like, they know he's a franchise guy.
Deshaun Watson's deal is a great benchmark. You can look somewhere between what Mahomes got and what Deshaun got and split the difference. I think that's really all it's going to come down to. Obviously, Mahomes' deal is so much longer, but he's also so much, I believe he's, I want to say 3 years younger, maybe 4 years younger, maybe 3.
Than Dak?
I think he's 3 years younger than Dak.
Okay, I'm looking it up.
I'm ballparking this off the top of my head. I'll be honest, my football age is not the best. Draft classes, they're all older guys, so like, fuck it.
So you got Patrick Mahomes, who I almost called Austin Mahomes. He is 25. Dak is 27, so 2 years.
2 years.
2 years,
maybe 2.5.
July of 93 for Dak. September of 95. So what? Just over 2 years?
Yeah,
not half, but like just a little over 2 years.
Fair enough. So yeah, 2 years older. Not a big thing, but you definitely think 5-year deal, 4-year deal. I think a 4-year deal happens. I think that Dak wants, a 3-year, but with this injury, maybe he's changed his perception of things. Yeah. But I get it. Hey, Tannenbaum just trying to make some shit happen, throw it at the wall, see what sticks. I don't blame the man. I just I don't see any reason why Jerry World would do this. Like, he has the quarterback who has been prepped, primed, and through the system for years. He's worked with the same QB coach. Like, we are comfy. We feel good about our team. I get it. Deshaun has the upside of he can just make plays happen, but it just doesn't seem like a Jerry Jones thing to do. Plus, we don't know how faithful Dak is. Dak all about the man upstairs? I don't know.
Which
Easterby better fucking know.
Speaking of good old Easterby, Dave, did you hear the news on the Pat McAfee show today?
No.
Apparently, Pat has been told that Easterby is well aware of what Pat McAfee has been saying about good old Jag Easterby. And he's aware of the impression where Pat today was like, I just want to saying all the good things. Got nothing against good old the man upstairs and Jag Easterby. I fucking loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like I said, the only reason I could, like, in my mind, kind of be like, okay, this makes sense for the Cowboys is, yet again, they would have Deshaun under contract, so it's not like you'd have to negotiate with him. It's like, okay,
no negotiations.
We have him for 4 years. Or you could also look at it too of like, okay, we have him for 4, but let's say it doesn't work, and the marriage after 2 years is not working, and you're like, okay, we're going to move on. Deshaun Watson does have a potential out after the 2023 season. So it would be 3 seasons with Dallas. Then he would have a potential out if you want to get out of it. I don't see why you would. You'd basically have him for the next 5 seasons. And I feel like that's where the Cowboys are. They want Dak for that many seasons. Yeah. And Dak wants to get paid.
Would this trade make either team significantly better or worse?
It would keep the Cowboys at about the same, I want to say. Because let's be honest.
Cowboys are a 9-win team.
They're a playoff team.
Yeah, they flirt.
Prescott.
Yep.
Like 9, 10. I think that's the range. Like
I think I floor them at 9. I think that's their floor is 9 wins with a healthy quarterback.
Yeah,
not named.
Obviously, they could be
Red
higher
Rock.
than that. They're obviously division favorites with either Deshaun or Dak.
The NFC East is a confusing place these
I don't
days,
know, man.
Ricky.
Taylor Heineke might be the guy in Washington.
I don't know what to expect out of four of these teams next year, Ricky. I don't know what the shit's going to happen in the NFC East. We don't know. Like, you literally could not guess what happened this year.
What the fuck?
So don't even try to assume next year.
Now, I know offensive line's a thing, but with the fucking weapons that offense has, Dave, and I know defense with the Cowboys has been riddled with injuries over the past few years. Sean Lee can never stay on the goddamn field.
No, he's
dead. But, like, he's dead. They have the wide receivers. They have the fucking running back in the backfield. It's like they should be good enough to win the division with Dak or Deshaun. For Dak, I feel like all this trade would prove to him is that, A, Dallas is not with him, and Dallas never cared about him. They just wanted a quarterback for 5 years. But then also it would just be like well, if I'm Dak, and I'm speaking like I am Dak Prescott, putting my mind in his mind, I'd be like, well, great. This is just a fucking, like, I'm here for a year. Let's try to make this year work, and then I'm fucking gone. Yet again, would Houston do the whole, we're going to franchise tag you and play that game with them? Or
well, I mean, you'd have to have been franchise tagged in order to be signed and traded.
Yeah, no. I'm talking about like after this year. Because then Houston would have then 2 more years.
If Houston traded for 1 year of Dak Prescott, that's what they got out of the Deshaun Watson deal, that would be atrocious.
I'm assuming the Texans would get the majority of the picks then, because they're getting a guy that would only have a 1-year deal, correct?
Yes.
So
if you ask who's more valuable of a quarterback right now, Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott, Deshaun Watson's the answer.
Yeah.
But because Dak is up now for his contract, I think he gets more money. Like that's just the situation of the quarterbacks. It's always next man up will get more money than me.
Yeah.
So because another year has passed, I know the NFL is a juggernaut of unlimited funds. So who cares where the actual numbers go? It's just they will be up.
Yeah. Because if I see this trade going down, this is the last thing I'll say on it. If this trade does happen and is being spoken into existence, I have no faith in the Texans then flipping Dak Prescott. Because if they can't trade Deshaun Watson, then they're not going to be able to trade Dak Prescott. I would just see it as like, all right, Cowboys got their guy. They got a quarterback for the next 5 years. Dak's going to rot away in Houston for a year. And then we'll see the Dak Prescott sweepstakes where he decides to go free agent-wise next year, which would be a controversy during the offseason, would give us something to talk about heading into free agency. But, Dave, let's move on. Let's go into a topic. This is a Dave Oster topic.
Is it?
You brought this up to me yesterday, and I was like, fuck it, let's roll with it today because of what we saw this weekend from some of the college games and the G League Ignite games is there's sort of a what's the word I want to use? A thought, a belief out there, Dave, that the early success of what we are seeing, especially from like a Jonathan Kuminga, and then this weekend, obviously, Dacian Nix and JG4, they kind of showed up for the first time. And I'm talking about stat lines. They kind of popped off a little bit before having some games to where it was like kind of not so great, stat-wise, I'm saying. And people are starting to look at it, and like you brought up to me yesterday, where it's like, are they proving this is now the new alternative for like, if you're going to be a top draft pick, I want to go this route compared to going to college. Now, this will be the deeper dive of the show, Dave. I knew this would be the deeper dive than the first topic. I'm going to let you kind of steer this one wherever you want to start with it, because this is the topic that you brought up. This is kind of your baby.
Well, I think that the question you have to initially ask is just like, is there a positive? I guess what are the positives so far we've seen out of G League year one? And I think we were incredibly lucky to see a number of very highly rated high school prospects decide to take them up on it. We got, I forget their RCI rankings, but like 2 top 10 players, a top 20 player, and then I think 2 top 50 players after that. Obviously, Kai Soto will be coming over after he wraps up with the international games. He's playing for the Philippines.
Yep, you're right.
Nailed it. Got countries. But because we got such top end talent, and I'm not saying top end talent never misses. If you go back previous years, we do this fairly often when we look at drafts. It's like, who are the top 25 players from 2016? Where are they now? Kind of thing. And it's always fun to see how many hit, how many miss, how far off people were on some players. So because we were so lucky to get such a talented class hit the G League, I don't think we ever expected this team to look as good as they do. And I think the mix that they put together out there of aged veterans together with them, like player coaches, basically they got like 3 Udonis Haslams out there playing in games. And I love it because Jarrett Jack out there taking all those shots shouldn't happen. But that man still thinks he's playing for a contract with the Nets, which I think is hilarious. But he's a great mentor for JG4. And I think that you want to have someone smart, crafty, someone who is a student of the game there to teach the young kids, this is how life is in the NBA. This is how you play up tempo. This is how you recognize situations on the court. Like the coaching and the attention to detail and the NBA level of play is what you're not getting in high school. Or I'm sorry, what you're not getting in college.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a win for the players because it's a super talented group. My question is, is it a one size fits all? Do I see all the top talent being like, well, if they're going to go to the G League, have an incredible level of success and get drafted higher than expected, like, why wouldn't I want to go there? I think a lot of it is just like, where does my game showcase? If you want to go to a blue blood and play under a Coach K or, under Cal or one of these, legendary college. I keep saying high school. I'm sorry. Yeah. Legendary college coaches. It is definitely up to you to do that. But understand it's a very different game in college than it is in the G League. Big man on campus definitely has its perks. Yeah. No one will argue with that. And it's not like you're in a situation where, hey, let's look at Quentin Grimes, a player who got some love from you recently, Ricky. I was a huge fan of him coming out of high school. I was like, him and Dotson are going to wreck down there at Kansas. Turns out they both struggled to get out of the gates. They were a little slower to the game than we had hoped. The expectations were too high for them. Dotson came out after his sophomore year as an undrafted free agent. The Bulls picked him up. I love the idea because, again, he was such a good pick and roll ball player. It's exactly what you want in your modern point guards. But Quentin Grimes was a top, prospect who is still in college in his third year. Now, if you're a G League player and you're by your third year, like, what happens? Like, how does that work? If you're in the G League, you don't get drafted. You just get put back in the G League cycle again.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of questions, a lot of expectations they have to figure out there. So I think if you're maybe a player who is not a guaranteed first round pick, or if you're thinking that, hey, there's a situation where I would rather have the chance to be an upperclassman, enjoy my time in college, get my degree, and have a chance to go to the NBA, like, that's fine. That's where I think, like, there's a balancing act of it's not one size fits all, but at the same time, like, there are huge upsides to playing in the G League.
And the thing I'm going to throw Twitch chat here where Mad Rogue says, and I'm going to correct some things because this was on me not setting it up properly, but he says, okay, one, I'm pretty sure most of these guys were top prospects in college or not. You're right. In a way, like JG4 was, I'm looking at the 24/7 sports rankings, and JG4 was number 2 right behind Cade. Then you had Evan Mobley at 3. You had Jonathan Kuminga at 4. Then you had Dave's boy, Brandon Boston Jr. at 5, Dave. He's not really Dave's boy. I just, I love throwing that at Dave.
Anytime you can mention Brandon Boston and struggle in the same sentence.
Daishan Nix was 17. They're all top 20. Also Isaiah Todd too, who's on this team. He was 20. So all 4 of them, top 20 overall.
Yeah, I think I nailed that pretty much.
The other thing Mad Rogue says, and this is what I want to correct, is 2, they've played 1 game so far compared to a good chunk of the season. So small sample size. G League just played their 4th game today. G League Ignite. They're 4-0. Yep. 97-90 win over the Wolves. Now, I'm stat picking here, so take it as you may. Kuminga went 3 of 13 from the field, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, only had 7 points, 3 turnovers. JG4 had 22, 5 of 11 from the field, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And then you had Deshaun Nix, 8 points, 3 of 9 from the field, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Nix had 2 turnovers. JG4 had 3 turnovers. So, I mean, it's not, I get that it's still a small sample size, but it's 4 games, not 1 game, kind of a small correction there. And the thing I was telling you, Dave, is I feel like the big thing that goes into this is, I'm glad you brought up Quentin Grimes because it brings up a good point. Like, I feel like I almost feel like if you're a player that, and this takes a lot of like looking within yourself as a player. If you know, it's like, okay, I'm not a one and done kind of a player. I'm someone that's going to be, I'm basically looking at 2 to 3 years until I'm looking at the draft. Maybe college might work better than the G League because, yet again, what do? You just go back to the G League? Then is it kind of looked at as a stigma of like, oh, like what's wrong with him? Like, yet again, I'm not saying that would happen, but is the G League supposed to be just like, hey, it's a one and done thing? You get your time here, you work with pros, boom, you go to the NBA. It's the John Calipari kind of with steroids. That's an interesting thing to look at. Number 2 is, I look at some of these prospects. You got Evan Mobley, who is from California, playing at USC. You've got with his brother. You've got Scotty Barnes from Monteverde, Florida. Monteverde, Florida. He's playing at Florida State. There are guys like Greg Brown from Austin, Texas, playing at fucking Texas with the Longhorns. There's a reason why they picked this. Like, for example,
Cade playing with his family as a coach. Shocker.
Like, that's the thing. Most of these guys have it in there to where it's like, I want to play with, like, for example, I brought up Coach K when we were talking about it. Like, I'm going to go to Duke. I want to play with Coach K because that's the coach I want to play with. And I don't think players, when they go and choose schools, like the only players I can think of off the top of my head that almost did this were the Fab Five, where you watch that documentary and they had the self-awareness to go, hey, I want to go to Michigan. Yo, Rose, why don't we team up? Juwan Howard, Derrick Rose. Hey, we're all playing in AAU together. We have a good commit. Why don't all 5 of us go to the same school? Like,
Ricky, that literally happened with RJ, Zion, and Cam.
No, I know. Like
2 years ago.
Yet again, like, but we don't see that every year. That's a more recent example.
I think we are seeing that more often because of the AAU circuit.
Okay, because like this year, not a lot. Like, yet again, each year is going to be different recruit-wise. But this year there wasn't like the school that got most of the top 20 recruits last year was Kentucky got Boston, who was 5, Terrence Clark, who was 8, and then the other one is the Tar Heels that got Caleb Love at 14 and Day'Ron Sharp at 15. Like, you don't see that every year, and should we start to see that then from college, where players in the AAU circuit go, yo, let's go here together, rather than the, just like, for example, Jalen Johnson, I'm just throwing out a name, of like I want to go here because I want to play for this school. This is where I want to go. Fit be damned, because like you were bringing up with Jalen Johnson, not a lot of room for him out there, where he got benched in a game recently because it was like, well, we got a player
playing 35 a night. Don't care how bad your team is, because your team sucks already.
Yeah.
So you should be getting the most out of your players. And that's the thing that's frustrating to see is is he being held back at the college level? Because I think his game would succeed in the G League. I think we would see him thrive. He's someone who I think is hurting his own stock. I don't know by how much, because I think everyone sees the raw talent there and how physical, how many tools he has to his game, but he doesn't get to shine.
Yeah.
I think if he were in the G League Ignite, I think he would. I absolutely think that Jalen would thrive in G League. And that's the thing that I'm like, I get it. Not every failure in college would instantly be a success in the G League. But I do think that the G League provides a different style of play. I think you're completely different sports almost between college basketball, the pros, G League, Euro League, the NBL down in Australia. Like these are all, yes, we're playing the same sport. Even the Israeli League, like all this shit's different. Yes, we're playing the same sport, but they're all different.
Yeah.
And that's what I think people have started to realize after watching European prospects come over and their commentary on the game and how easy it is to play. Like Luka making the joke of how easy it is for him to score in the NBA compared to Europe. Because
or
the
Melo
rules are
coming
different.
over from the NBL.
LaMelo coming over from the NBL, where
Melo,
Melo coming over from the NBL, being hilariously over criticized and scrutinized for his play style, his shooting, his everything. That was a little more personality because of the ball brand, though. To be fair, that hurt his stock a little. But clearly thriving with an NBA wide open play style, pass first mentality, open ball movement. Everything ticks the right boxes for his style of play.
Yeah,
I think if he was on some college team like Cade Cunningham with 4 other guys who aren't going to sniff the NBA in their fucking life, like he wouldn't look as good. Duh. And that's the point I want to drive home here is I'm not saying the G League is the answer to all my problems. I'm saying the G League is an awesome answer for some of the top talent in the nation to get a head start, to showcase their talents in a way that they would never be able to do in college, and to work with better coaches, better sports trainers, and strength and conditioning coaches, and to pick the brain of NBA veterans. Yes, it's not the most glamorous lifestyle, being on the road in the G League, but obviously the NBA is trying to work that into, hey, we're a showcase team. We are the it factor to this G League, which has been growing. Like I said last week, they've gotten so much better. Their level of play, the quality of play has gotten so much better over the last 6-7 years. I cannot say enough good about how the G League is transforming itself and its potential pitch for kids coming out of high school.
Now, here's a question I'm going to ask is this is obviously the first year we've had this. So obviously it's only 4 kids because we usually say the top 3. I'm going to add Isaiah Todd in there because technically he was in the same recruiting class as the other 3.
He is, yeah.
Obviously, we didn't see a lot of guys. First off, it's if this gets more interest from recruits, how should the NBA approach this? Like, I'll ask you, how many slots on this team should the NBA allow? That's question 1. And then question 2 is, let's say I'm going to throw out Chet Holmgren from next year's recruiting class, where let's say he's like, all right, I've given a verbal to Gonzaga because right now they're the one that lead him 100% on his rankings. I've given a commit to Gonzaga, but I am going to do they do like a draft where it's like, hey, we got 6 slots. And you know what? If you're not drafted, like, would colleges be okay? Not okay, but like, would colleges revoke offers if a player was like, hey, I verbally commit to you, but if I'm drafted in the G League, I'm going to go to the G League. Like, is there going to be a workaround to where it's like, well, if you know you're going to get drafted, go, but the guys on the fringe where it's like, hey, I'm not going to make that top 6. Should they just not even put their name in, or should they just say, fuck it, I'm just going to go to college? Like, how does this evolve going forward, do you think?
I think that the G League needs to be careful and not take in guys who are ranked like, 240. Like, that will not help the cause. That will not help the showcase. The idea, as far as I understand it, is this is the showcase of the next rising stars of the NBA. So you can't take on guys who aren't sure things. So I think there has to be an internal cap of, we will take up to X amount of players. Whether that number is 5 or 10, I don't know. I mean, if we're saying, hey, I'm the commish now, I'm Adam Silver, I would love it to be 10. I think 10 kids out of the top 75. You might even say 10 on the top 100. It depends on what the reception's like. If I get 40 people who want to join all of a sudden, then I can get more specific. I can cherry pick. And that would be cool because you could literally have like veteran NBA GMs like who have moved on from their active job. Or you could even pair up and be like, hey, Jerry West, here's what we're looking at. Who would you like to see on the NBA showcase in the G League? And you can go ahead and float it to multiple GMs. Like, that would be an insane move, not only for marketing, not only for prospect scouting, but also opportunity you're already putting in the time with these GMs. That would be so cool.
I just got an idea from Retro. So Retro in Twitch chat says, I think the G League can be a good alternative, just not on the same team. Maybe guys will try to hurt their fellow teammates' value by not passing and just trying to do everything. And they said, like, I don't mean hurt their teammates, but like hurt their value.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
First off, I take that and I go, but we're not seeing that through 4 games with these guys.
No one's vindictive like that. I think that's a maturity thing that if it happened, like literally for a minute and a coach saw it, your ass would be on the fucking bench. You'd be fucking done.
What about this though? And this is where I come into it of, let's say, and yet again, it depends on how much interest there is. What if the NBA says this? Like, okay, we got a lot of interest in this. Yeah. We're only going to take 30 players. And how it's going to be based off of is, and just hear out the whole thing, and then this is why. 30 players. If we're less than that, we take less. If it's more, like let's say they have 40 players that are interested, it's based off of your high school ranking. So the first
who's
30
high school ranking? Your 24/7, your RCI, your ESPN.
Maybe they do a thing like what the old recruiting sites used to do, where they take all the sites, they put them together and they average them, and they say,
that's
okay,
why I like getting the GMs involved.
Average, or they do that. My point is,
you give the fucking franchises a little say in it.
Yeah,
give them a little say. You know what I'm saying?
Point is, if the G League puts it out, there's 30 guys that these are the top 30 guys that G League thinks there are, and they put one guy per G League team.
2 teams don't have a G League team.
Then 28. Then it just goes down. With me, I didn't know if all 30 were, so that's why I said 30.
I don't yet.
So 28. Then it's 28 players, and you put one player on each team. Therefore, you could do the same thing, but then we get the added thing of like the one thing we're not seeing with these players is I'm not seeing JG4 go up against Jonathan Kuminga. I'm not seeing, like, you might get that a little bit more of, I want to see them go mano-a-mano in some games like we get in some college games rather than just playing together. And then therefore it's like you're kind of spreading the love on some G League teams and not taking a ton of roster spots.
I think long-term that might be something possible, but right now I'm concerned with the lack of quality control because not every franchise values the G League the same way. If you get put on the 905 Raptors, you're feeling pretty fucking fantastic. You're like, look, this group of guys gives the most fucks about my development, my growth. And that's the other thing, because they aren't being drafted technically, they're just going into the G League on a, like, here's my 1 year outside of this. Why do the 905 Raptors have any incentive to play him over their own players who they do have under contract, who they are developing? Like, it gets a little murky there. That's one of the concerns around that. And say you're not on one of the franchises that, you know, hey, this team, they do have a G League team, but they're not very good. They don't have the best coaching staff. Like, the G League Ignite was basically cherry picked. How can we make the best possible experience for these kids? And that's the thing, is you get the right mix of veterans and young kids together. And that's what I really love, is being able to have a mentor there for you means so much. And I think that if you're on another G League team, you might not have that, because some of these guys in G League, no offense, are never going to be in the NBA.
Yeah.
And you could get like a 28-year-old who's never going to be in the NBA.
They're living out their dream, just being able to play basketball.
There's nothing wrong with that, but like there's also, what is the goal of the G League in the NBA's mind? What is your end goal as Adam Silver to build out for the G League? Are you just saying we want to get our hands on the top talent in high school before they even touch college, because we think that this is another marketable set of games that we can have set up maybe during a different time of year, maybe during, you know, different gaps in the season, we can highlight these games and get more marketing around them, get more media, build the brand before they are even stars. Like, it really depends on, or is your goal just competitive basketball, in which case the one per team thing probably works out best. But at the same time, like I said, like, hey, the 905 Raptors, the Spurs, G League organization, those have been fantastic, and they're known for their player development. Meanwhile, you look at some others and you're like, well, I mean, it exists. Anybody fucking go up from there? No, not a fan of going there. Like, hey, if I'm a SoCal kid and I have commits, or I have offers from Michigan, Duke, UNC, or I can go play in the G League in, like, I don't know, fucking Pittsburgh. Like, no offense, Pittsburgh, but like,
yeah, I mean, That's also a thing you bring this up, and we got to at least mention it. The one thing that is different this year about a normal year is they're all playing their games in sunny Florida. They're all playing them at Orlando where the bubble was last year. Next year, when hopefully COVID is gone, bye, I haven't loved you, get the fuck out of here. Is it going to be as appealing to where it's like, where do you base the team out of? Where do they play their home games? Like
the plan prior to the bubble was to have them as the showcase team, so they would stay in one location and teams would rotate through their gym in California.
So all their games would be a home game, basically.
Yeah, they would be in California the entire time, which again, who the fuck wouldn't want to do that? Like, I mean, that was a hell of a sales pitch. We're like, we're going to pay these kids out of high school $500,000. You're going to work with the best staff, best trainers. Yeah. You're going to stay in SoCal. I think it's SoCal. Like, whatever. It doesn't even, it's such an incredible opportunity for them. So
is there even a benefit to making them move? Because, like, for me, the one benefit that I think of is, wouldn't you want as a player to be like, no, let me go on road games because I want to know what it's going to be like to be an actual pro where we're actually going on the road, playing at home. Like, I want that full experience.
You want to go on the road on a shitty plane, stay at a Red Roof Inn, and, you know, have to deal with a bunch of bullshit of being no, fuck no. These are coddled kids who are going to be the next multi-million-dollar products for the NBA. Yeah. We want only the best for them, Ricky. This is a pampering service.
You think Adam Silver's putting the G League in Red Roof Inns? I know they're not like the 5-star resorts.
I don't think they're getting. Yeah, I don't think they're getting 5-star resorts. Yeah. I think they're getting. You know, they'd be lucky if they get a Hampton.
Holiday Inn, Dave.
I think they're lucky if they get a Hampton, Ricky. Maybe a day 6. Yeah, like, I mean, honestly, that's, you hear the stories because that's like you. I was fascinated by the whole MLB process for their minors.
Yeah.
And you hear about those 30-year-old, 32-year-old guys down there in the minors taking the bus, you know, going on road trips, staying at shitty motels. That's the life. And some people love it and they're like, hey, I'm all about it. I will work, I will grind, I will get my opportunity eventually, kind of a thing. And it's giving up on a dream. It's very hard to do. So I understand why. But like, that's not the fucking environment. You want these basketball superstars to have at age 18 and 19.
Okay. Yeah, I was just throwing it out there because, like, there's just a part of me that thinks of the full experience of, like, because yet again, like, colleges, they're a little bit different because they're probably putting their players up in the in the nice hotels. I know that when I was calling games back in college, that they weren't like fucking expensive.
I'm trying to be over dramatic to make an example, but you get the point. Is like the whole thing with this year and Adam Silver was like, how do I make this as appealing as possible? Yeah. To pull top talent out of college, which we don't get money for, into something that we can monetize. Genius. I mean, this year has been a smashing success, and even with those numbers you tossed out there from today, struggles. That's awesome because guess what? If these 18-year-old, 19-year-olds are rolled over all the talent in the G League every game and just looked like superstars, you're like, the fucking G League sucks if they're getting blown out by these 3 kids or 4 kids. Like,
they're winning though. That's the thing. They're winning, but that's the thing. They're not
it's looking. The balance.
Yeah.
It's not everybody's bringing it every night. You're getting veterans who are in the mix, who are helping them out. Like that's where I'm at. Like, I love what this is. That's why I'm afraid of. By the way, we give everybody a star and hope for the best. Somebody's gonna draw the short fucking straw.
By the way, Jarrett Jack, fucking pretty good line today for a future Brooklyn net. Only 10 points, but went 4 of 8 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3, hauled in 5 boards, passed the ball, and got 4 assists. Like, Brooklyn Nets, he's right there for you. Take him.
I'm telling you, you will sign before the season's over.
Oh, just take him. There's a part of me that thinks that, like, I wonder when we're gonna get, because, like, obviously JG4 was number 2, but I look down the line, and the big question that I have that you can't answer, I can't answer, is next year, will a Chet choose this over going to Gonzaga? Will an Amoni Bates, where right now Amoni Bates has already given a verbal to play for Tom Izzo and the right now struggling Michigan State Spartans this year, but will we get one of these number 1 guys say, hey, I want to go and play. And then if we're looking at 2023, it's DeJuan Wagner out of New Jersey, who right now
That'll
is leaning
change
towards
before the
Kentucky.
end of the fucking year.
Yeah, he's leaning towards Kentucky.
What about Bronny? Bronny gonna follow his father and just skip college?
That's the thing. Does Bronny have any like the only thing I can think of with Bronny, and yet again, it's either does he have a link to a California school, or is it one of those things of like, hey, my dad never went to play at Ohio State because that's where LeBron said he would have gone. Right. Fuck it, I'm going to Ohio. I'm playing for Ohio State. I'm going to do what my dad never did. I'm not saying he does that, but like I could see him easily skipping college.
Because like he's got no connection. Like, yeah, I get your dad went there, but like, or lived there, but like LeBron's got that connection because he grew up in Ohio. Mm-hmm. Bronny didn't grow up in Ohio.
Yeah, exactly.
Bronny grew up in a mansion in fucking California. Like,
exactly. Like I don't see why he would skip over this. Like.
I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be very cool if Bronny went to the G League. Baller. And again, here's the other thing. Like, if they schedule it right, it's just like the high school games where LeBron's sitting courtside yelling at his kid. Like, it would be so cool. I think that these would be highlight games that, like, during off nights, you would legit get like semi-famous people going to, building the hype around. Like, this is how you build a fucking culture. I love this, Ricky.
So here's the only question that I have, though, is would Zaire Wade decision alter Bronny to where do you think that right now they're teammates or were teammates at Sierra Canyon? Because right now I have an article from what date is this? From earlier this year that apparently Zaire Wade transferred to Dwayne Wade reacts after frustration with the Sierra Canyon coach. Like, they are buds, by the way, though, Bronny and Zaire.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Does that then play into it with them to where it's like, if both of them want to go to the G League, that's great, but if one wants to go to a college, does the other one go, fuck it, man, I want to play with you for a year. I'm going wherever you go.
I mean, we could see the team
fucking turn down either of them, by the way. Like, Wade, LeBron, Suns, like, if you're a college...
Don't care how good they are.
Yeah, you're dumb for turning them down, not giving them a scholarship.
Agreed.
Just because you know D. Wade's shown up to all those games then. Like, LeBron, obviously, you know, he's playing because he's going to be playing with Bronny one day. But, yeah, I've loved the success of this, and I can't wait to see where the future of the G League goes. But Dave, that's going to bring us into a segment we love to do here on MVP Sports Live. These are the dampest of dudes, the soggiest of shooters, the moistest of men, and sometimes the mistiest of misses. These are our wet boys, players of the game from the day prior, in this case, the weekend prior. How it works is Dave gives a wet boy, I give a wet boy, and then the patrons at patreon.com/MVPvids also get to vote on their wet boy each and every day. Dave, without further ado, I'm going to kick it to you. Who's your wet boy February 15th, 2021?
Wet boy for February 15th is the one, the only, the plum dog himself, Mason Plumlee. I mean, how can you not love the effort that this dude puts in on a tanking franchise? We literally just heard today Blake Griffin will no longer play for the Detroit Pistons. Don't know where his future is, but it ain't there. Meanwhile, Plum Dog going out there, laying the D out, playing all the positions. Basically, he was their point guard. He was their fucking center. He even made a couple shots. I think this is a lot of people clown on this Detroit team for giving Jeremy Grant and Plumlee big contracts. Not even big contracts, just contracts. And I think both of them look great right now. Who knows for the future? But both of these players look like very solid contributors. Plumlee, someone who absolutely could be flipped into an advantageous trade. I think there's a lot of market out there for somebody who can do what he can do. So, hey, I know the Pistons aren't exactly in win now mode. If they get a great deal, I'm sure they would listen. This is a situation where you brought him in because you know he's got talent and underutilized. If you can flip him, great. If he's your future center for the next 3 years, great. There's no downsides.
Yeah.
Shout out.
I mean, in our own Discord last night, there was opinions of the Pistons are ruining their own tank by winning games. There's also been the saying of the Pistons are the best, worst team in the NBA because they just seem to beat teams. that they shouldn't. My wet boy, Dave, because we're going to get back to the Pistons. That's a little tease for you. My wet boy, I'm going to college because there were some great college games this weekend, especially on Saturday. Could have given it to anyone from Creighton, knocking off number 3 Villanova Hova. We had a great performance by the Arkansas Razorbacks. Moses Moody, who was in the draft, had a pretty good performance in that game.
He's a lotto kid.
Hell yeah. We also had, John Petty the third, or is it Junior? Is his tag? Petty from Alabama. They fucking rolled Georgia and got back on track. I'm going with a guy in Austin Reeves who, in double overtime against the West Virginia Mountaineers, just puts up 28, hits the key shot, 50% from the field, perfect from the foul line. This Sooners team, Dave, I hope this is not a curse like I cursed Alabama, where I was like, Alabama, watch for them in the tournament, and then they went a little bit on the downcline. I hope this does not happen to Oklahoma and we start a Ricky Widmer curse, but this Oklahoma team, they may be a 3 or a 4 seed, Dave, but I think they could be a sleeper for the Final Four, where whatever region they're in, if you're thinking a 3 or a 4 is making it to the Final Four, book the Sooners to get to basically Indy, because all of it's going to be in Indy this year. Book them for the Final Four, though, as a sleeper. And Dave, the patron, going with you, going back to Detroit, going back to D-Town.
Oh, shit.
Dun, 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 boom, Saddiq Bey. Baby. Just a phenomenal weekend. I know he had a one game that was bigger than the other, but
overall, 3-point performance.
Overall, Dave, 70% from the field, 73% on the weekend from 3-point. That's elite numbers for a rookie.
It's elite numbers for a rookie who was taken so late in the draft. We all saw what he could do in college, and we're like, yeah. A lot of people complained about, well, he's not really going to be able to move laterally enough to be a wing defender at the NBA level. He's really just a system player. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
You apparently don't know basketball if you're one of these kids over fucking focusing on these little things. Like, Saddiq Bey is a baller. I'm so happy for him. I'm happy the Pistons got him because he's obviously now going to get more opportunities with Blake not there. And we talked earlier with Soaps about little Sekou Demboya missing time due to his concussion concerns. So, like, this is time for Saddiq Bey to set his fucking mark, because I'm telling you, Jeremy Grant, Saddiq Bey as the future of this team.
Yep.
Whoo! Looking good.
Do you think, and we're going to talk about this team in a little bit, Dave, right, like in a couple seconds. Do you think the Boston Celtics are kicking them? Like, why did we take Nesmith? We should have taken Saddiq Bey. Could you imagine fast PP and Saddiq Bey from the outside, Dave? Just making it rain. The new Splash Brothers of the East. The Splash Clovers.
But because, here's the problem, Ricky. If they got drafted by the Celtics, they'd probably be on the, what are they, the Red Rocks? Or no, what? Red Claws. They'd be on the Red Claws.
Jesus.
Because that's where all Boston's picks end up.
I mean, unless you're fast PP. I mean,
Fast PP is up there because Kemba Walker is such a scumbag and terrible player all over that, you just have to bring in professional point guard.
Do you think Brooklyn's kicking themselves? Because it was originally their pick that got him to Detroit. No? You don't think Saddiq Bey be helping out Brooklyn right now in any way?
I don't.
Okay. I'm just asking.
I genuinely don't. I think that they were much better off not playing him.
Other teams I'm looking at that picked things we didn't think was, the Mavericks went with Josh Green.
That's a wait and see.
The Pelicans, I don't think Kyra Lewis Jr. is
arguments.
No argument.
He's their future point guard.
Only one I can then see, and here's the thing. Didn't think Saddiq Bey was number 8 though, but if you're the Knicks, you take in a redraft right now, you take Saddiq Bey over Obi popping off, Dave. Do you overreact and take Saddiq Bey at 8?
No.
Dave's like, no, I don't. Stop. Get that fucking shit out of here.
I don't like Obi Toppin, but I do not think that the Knicks would redraft Saddiq Bey over him because it's year one.
Yeah. Can't react over year one.
Come on.
Dave, before we get into talking about the Boston Celtics and is it time to panic in Boston, let's talk about today's sponsor of the show today. If you are sitting there at home and you're like, especially with all this snow that is hitting everywhere, you're like, man, I'm going to be home for a while. I'm going to be having, I've got the quarantine beard going on. I've also got the quarantine beard down below as well, Dave. You can't see it, but I had the quarantine beard down below. Manscaped.com. It's going to help you out, Dave. It's going to make sure that you're prim and proper. You're feeling smooth. Your basketballs are right for the game when that game time eventually does come. Manscaped is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. They offer precision-engineered tools for your delicate family jewels. 2 million men worldwide are using Manscaped right now. You can join the family as well. They are the place for all your grooming needs. And right now, 20% off and free shipping. Go to manscaped.com. Use the code MVP, and you can get just that, 20% off and free shipping. MVP, go ahead, use that code, manscaped.com. And Dave, we do move on into the next segment, and that is your good old team, Dave, the team you love to talk about, the player you love to talk about, and Kemba Walker. And actually, Kemba Walker had a quote here, Dave. The exact quote from ESPN says, "We just need to play harder." That's it. We're not playing hard. We're not playing as hard as we know we can.
Why didn't anybody else tell that?
When you play hard, great things happen. And right now, it just hasn't been consistent, our play. So like I said, we're going to continue to watch film and learn from our mistakes and get better. Dave, this is a Boston team that in their last, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They are 3-7 in their last 10. In February, they are 3-8 in the month of February. Dave, is it time to panic if you're a Boston fan out there?
Oh, yeah. It's time to panic over there. I mean, look, they went into this offseason with some known issues. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they had to address the center position. They had Gordon Hayward, who was a commodity that did not want to be there anymore. Mm-hmm. You had a scumbag with chronic knee injuries as your starting point guard. So obviously, multiple holes on this team. And what did they do, Ricky? They went out and they signed TT, undersized center who can rebound, rim protect a little, but notoriously has been bullied by their biggest competitor in the Eastern Conference in Joel Embiid, and has not played amazing against Giannis Antetokounmpo. So not quite sure how that solves that issue. You go point two. Let's look at the draft. Hey, maybe they did something good in the draft, Ricky. How many picks did the Celtics have in this fucking draft?
A lot, Dave. They had a lot.
They had a lot. Sure felt like they had a lot.
War chest. The war chest, Dave.
Now, Ricky, there are a couple smart guys who talked about how this team had to trade up.
I even had them trading up. Oh, wait, am I one of the guys? I even had them trading up with the Pistons, who would have loved 3 picks, by the way, Dave, as we saw in the draft, getting first-rounders left and right.
They have had all the assets under the sun, but Danny Ainge can't fucking get it up anymore. Like, that's where I'm going with this. Look, you nailed Jason Tatum. You nailed Jaylen Brown. No one's arguing with that. Mm-hmm. But since then, what have you done? Gordon Hayward, you fucked up. Mm-hmm. You absolutely fucked up. You could have had Miles Turner and Dougie McBuckets, who would have helped you immensely. Mm-hmm. Nah, don't want it. Bad contract, guys. Bad contract. I know better than that. Let's get a $27 million trade exception, which we're inevitably going to use to get Al Horford back. The fuck? Like, that's the most Celtics thing in the goddamn world. The draft, like we said, again, just Peyton Pritchard has been a pleasant surprise. He's not a world beater by any means. LaMelo Ball kicks the living shit out of him morning, noon, and night. That one hurt my brain a little. Noon. I was like noon and night. But look, he is performing well for a 23-year-old point guard who has played 4 years of college already. So, hey, be happy with you nailed a hopefully can't miss bench point guard for your future. That's your contribution to this class right now. That's embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. I can't fucking believe how angry Boston Celtics fans must be to have to deal with Aaron Nesmith's struggles, A, Romeo Langford's struggles, B, Grant Williams, who was a nice player, but again, upperclassman in college when they drafted him. He was kind of a tweener without a real position because his game didn't exactly translate outside of that Tennessee offense. which, again, he wasn't there supremely for his offense. He was there for his defense, his hustle. His smart playmaking at times was very nice for that Tennessee team. But point being, it feels like they've just fucked themselves in the draft year over year since they drafted Jason Tatum. And I think that's where a lot of the frustration comes from. Everybody else has gotten to the point of, we draft our players, we develop them, and when we move forward, and then in free agency, great. Obviously we can talk about the IT, the lack of fucking trust. Hey, we're going to make this guy play on the death of a family member and bust up fucking hip that ruins his career, and then kick him out of town for Kyrie. Kyrie's not a great match here because reasons. We're not quite sure what went wrong there. Something's not great, so we'll flip Kyrie out too. Great. We got Kemba Walker. We got an old point guard with bad knees now. Massive deal. What? Like, I hate it. I hate it, Rick. I don't know if you can tell. I hate it.
Dave's like, I'm just gonna rant.
There are so many reasons this team should be fucking Eastern Conference just dominant.
No,
like,
they should.
It should be the amount of assets they had, but the fact that they have a gutless GM at this point, they're stuck in the middle. It's embarrassing. I mean, they're literally a 500 team right now, right? Are they 500?
They are. Let me pull up their schedule. They are 13-13. You are right. They are at the good old 500.
In the East.
Yeah.
In the East,
No,
I'm sorry, I'm going Trump hands on you, but in the East, they're a 500 team.
Yeah.
How embarrassing is this for Boston? It's hilarious. I mean, and I'm sure we're going to hear how, they've offered 17 first round picks and somebody else for a deal that somebody turned down that was dumb. Like, yeah, sure. We hear all these leaks about supposed trades that could have happened. Guess what? The results are there.
Yeah.
You have 2 hits in the draft. Marcus Smart, a little further back, still very great, very, very nice player. But like, outside of that, what the fuck do you have to show for it? You didn't build a roster around your best talent. You didn't transition from a Eastern Conference fucking push with your IT-led team to a Kyrie-led team to a Kemba-led team now. I'm saying led roughly because point guards, but clearly they weren't the best player on any of those teams. I'm so upset at the missed opportunities. And I think, playing cute, the Matisse Thybulle shit, obviously is one of those things where it's like, oh yeah. Carson Edwards, a great fucking job there. You sniped in Matisse Thybulle because the 76ers sold their fucking game plan on the internet a week early. And what'd you get out of it? You got a 5'9" guy who can play in the G League. What do you want?
Yeah, I mean, so for me, there's a couple things. Number one, Marcus Smart. Marcus Smart is so important to this team. If you were not aware, because basically ever since he's been out on his injury, Dave, where's the fucking defense? Like, he is their main defensive stopper. And from what I'm looking here, there are numerous articles from like over the weekend saying, yeah, he ain't coming back anytime soon. To where the Boston Herald even says no timetable for return from his calf injury. So you're not going to get any love there. Like, you're not going to get any support from him anytime soon. And then it's like, I look at the trade market, Dave, because to me, all of this and what you're seeing, if you're a Boston player, I know that over the weekend, we were saying, oh, Brad Stevens deserves to be fired. No, Danny Ainge deserves to be fucking canned. That's what he deserves. Like, we are a few years out from Boston hating Danny Ainge, or I hope hating Danny Ainge as much as we hated Garpax here in Chicago. Because all of this is drawn back to Danny Ainge. This is what Danny Ainge does. You ready? You watching my hands, Dave? You watching? Here, what am I doing, Dave? What am I doing? I'm sitting on my fucking hands because that's all he does. Oh, I've got all these picks. Gonna make great moves. And then he never does. You said Trump hands. That's the best thing Danny Ainge is. He's like, Trump, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And then he does nothing. No
Rick, I heard they were going to give Anthony, they were going to give up 7 first-round picks and Jaylen Brown for Anthony Davis. And then they were, the next time around, when Kawhi was up, they were going to give 8 first-round picks and Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
And they still wouldn't take the deal. Yeah. How dumb are those teams, right?
Yeah, and here's the problem too, where I look at the trade market. We've talked about Boston's trade market. You can go ahead on our YouTube page, videos.
I mean, it's just Kevin O'Connor. rent-free in my brain, so we have to talk about it because I won't shut up about it. I apologize to Ricky numerous times about this.
See, I don't mind
cannot
it, though.
spout my anger.
Here's the thing. In that video, we brought up two of the guys that I think are trade targets. Andre Drummond, and then you brought up Harrison Barnes. And many Celtic fans were like, dude, if we can get both of those, like, that would be amazing. Here's the problem, Dave. Just to make the contracts work, I'm not even throwing out this trade because I don't know who's going where. I was just picking who's going where because I'm like, how do they make this work? In order to get both of those on their team, with the trade exception, Dave, they would have to trade Tice, Edwards, Williams, Langford, Teague, TT, Semi Ojeleye, and Aaron Nesmith. Now, it's worth it, but it's one of those things like I don't even know where either of those goes. Like right now, I put it to where the Kings would get Jeff Teague, TT, Semi Ojeleye, Aaron Nesmith, and then a first-round pick this year because I think all of that value is still not enough for Harrison Barnes. I might be overvaluing Harrison Barnes.
No, I mean the problem is it's a bunch of unproven players and one washed-up player.
Yeah,
and they don't want
know if they want TT because they got fucking Holmes and Bagley down there.
Exactly.
And then
space to play those motherfuckers. And then
on the Cavs side, I put Daniel Tice.
Whiteside too. You can take Whiteside back with you.
Yeah, you can take Whiteside. But like I look at it and it goes just the contracts that they will have to take into where it's like, is there even a trade out there that helps them right now that instantly makes all of their problems go away? Is there? I don't know. Like this helps. Drummond and Barnes would help, but like this is a team to where I feel like if they don't make the play, like now yet again, I'm gonna look at the standings.
East. They would literally have to stumble into a pocket of COVID in order to not make the playoffs.
Right now, they're the 5th seed, and the Pacers right now have been a hot can of garbage lately.
Yeah, they have stubbed their toe on a desk.
Dude, if they lose to the Bulls tonight in Indy,
they're playing right now. We have a watch along with 5 people in our Discord right now. Shout out Discord. If you guys aren't in Discord, join the Grace
thing again. Yeah, well, it's one of those where it's like I don't know if it's the.
There we go.
I don't know if it's the microphone or my headset. I keep trying to unplug it. It sounds muffled again. And I fucking hate it. It just drives me crazy.
Again, I think we're both getting to the point of this is a team that needed to make moves, didn't make moves, and is now stuck with the repercussions of having a team with a bunch of low draft picks on their roster, filling out a bench that desperately needs guys who can play and help right now, and they don't have that.
I was going to say, are they a first round, like done in the first round team? Do they lose to the Pacers in the first round? Do they lose to this? Oh, if the Hornets knock them out in the first round, Dave, if that's a matchup that happens, Melo knocking them out?
I love the Hornets. I'm just going to make that out loud.
Dave's number 2 team. Or no, they're number 1 team. Right?
I've become a Hornets fan with the addition of LaMelo Ball on top of Monk, Graham, Rozier, and Hayward. Hey, hang on a sec, Ricky. Hayward, who's playing like an all-star. Rozier, who just knocked down 3 30+ games. That's weird, right?
It all comes.
Where did those guys come from?
It all comes back full circle, Dave. It all comes back.
Where did those guys come from, Ricky?
Yeah, it's weird. It all comes back full circle on it, and
it's very, very funny to just look at the situation and the frustration of Boston. And I agree. I'm sorry. I don't agree. I think that even with all of those ridiculous things happening, I don't know if you can hear me right now.
I can.
Even with all that ridiculous, you're saying, could they lose in the first round? I still don't. I wouldn't bet on it because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are that fucking good this year. Those 2 men will go to war, and they've had playoff experience since day 1, and you can't replicate that. Like you can say, hey, LaMelo Ball is a shining star. He's the future of the NBA. Guess what? LaMelo Ball hasn't played a playoff game. Like Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum have put in their time. They've played against LeBron James. You don't get better practice than that. And that's what I absolutely love about this team is like you have fucking warriors with Tatum, Brown, Marcus Smart. I respect the fuck out of those guys. Marcus Smart. But you have a point guard who literally is useless out there, even though he's starting to shoot better. We'll see about the uptick. Thank you, your boy Cheech. That's awesome. Appreciate the sub. But like they need so much. And yet this roster, as constructed, still is not a first round out.
Yeah.
They're a 500 team in the East. And I'm still saying, watch out for them in playoffs because these three guys can absolutely do a carry job.
I don't know, Dave. I'm going to say it. They're done.
$27 million, Ricky. They got to make something happen, right?
Without Marcus Smart, they're done.
Ricky, if they fucking finish this season without using that $27 million exception,
they ain't gonna.
On someone.
They ain't gonna. Like, and this is me being brutally honest. Like, in the past, Dave, on the fast break, I would totally fucking be all in. I'd be like, Danny Ainge has got to use it. They got to use it. I'm sorry. Like, I am speaking to JD here because he's our resident Boston fan in the Discord. More Boston fans, go ahead and join the Discord. Help JD out in some of these conversations. But, yeah, they're done. Don't expect Danny Ainge to make a move. I'm going to Nostradamus it right now. We're going to play this back, whether I'm right or wrong, because I'm like that. Yep. When I'm wrong, I still put it out there. Danny Ainge ain't going to make no fucking move. They're going to get bounced in the first round of the playoffs. And then Boston fans will want Brad Stevens fired and not Danny Ainge fired. That's 1, 2, 3, bada bing, bada boom, book it. Like, that's a 3-game parlay you can fucking set, because that's good odds right there. Okay,
I do want to address the coaching of Brad Stevens. Do you think?
No, but he's better than most options.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can be frustrated at the lack of success this year, but without a guy to replace him, I don't know why you would remove him. Mm-hmm. I think you want change for change's sakes, but you're blaming the guy who got dealt the shit hand, not the dealer. You know, that's what the situation is right now. How is he supposed to win without a true point guard, without a true big, and with little to no depth out there?
It takes. Like, the Bulls are starting to understand. It takes a front office and a coach, Dave. It takes a front office and a coach working together. But before we move on into small talk, which is basically our version of Shorty But a Goodie from MVP Games Live, Dave, I've got 3 here that are just quick hitters. I'm going to take one from the comment section first. This is just right off the top of the brain. Your boy Cheech says, who just subbed, thanks for the sub, like Dave said, boys, if the Hornets get the number 1 pick, are you still taking Cade Cunningham, or does LaMelo make it worthy to look at JG4 or Mobley? We will look into the Hornets much later when we do their full thing and like what pick they get. But right now, Dave, I'm just going to kick it off to you for the answer. What are you doing if you're the Hornets at 1?
If you somehow get the number 1 pick with this team, which I don't think they will, because I think they're a playoff team. I think they're a playoff team. I would still take Cade. Okay. It's so hard to not take someone with all the talent he has. I get the idea of I've got my primary ball handler in LaMelo Ball, but the way he freestyles out there, like I almost see Cade as like a similar, he can grow under Gordon Hayward for a year. And that gives you insurance. Like, you're not playing him off the bench, but like you have someone to play next to him, because I think Bridges is a great bench player. I think he has such a great connection with LaMelo Ball. And I think that when Devontae Graham gets moved back to the bench, we're going to see Devontae Graham and him thrive together as well. I think you can never have too many ball handlers on a team. Like, that's one of those situations where you're like, oh, how are they going to share the ball? Yeah, how's that working out for Brooklyn? They're the biggest scoring offense we've ever seen since the existence of bat. Like, it's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you would think someone like Mobley would be a great fit, and JG4 even the same way. Like, hey, why am I not pairing my young stud point guard with one of the best potential athletic shooting guards up and coming to the NBA? I think Terry Rozier is very good, and I think he's still very undervalued. I'm not saying he's better than JG4 will ever be, because I don't think so. I think JG4 will be great, but I do think that I'm looking either at Cade, because he's a generational size talent combination, like someone with the ball handling skills and the 3-level shooting skills. Like, he's, you hear the comps of Magic Johnson with a shot. I don't know that anyone in the right mind could pass that up. That's my problem. It's like, doesn't matter where he fits in the floor, we will find room for him. And if that means Gordon Hayward is movable, great. Gordon Hayward's now an all-star. We can make a profit off of selling Gordon Hayward high after bringing in Cade. Or if you do decide to go Mobley, same thing. Like, they do have a hole at center. Obviously, with Washington, like, playing the 4, playing the 5, sometimes we're not 100% sure on where that'll end up at the end of the day. But it's a great fucking roster. Like, there's so much. The Hornets are the best. If you are not watching the Hornets nightly, you got better things do, and that's your problem. They're a joy to watch.
Yeah, I hate to be like this, but they ain't getting their number 1 overall pick. They're a playoff team. They're not going to be in the lottery. Now, I don't know how the NBA is going to do it with this play-in tournament. If you're originally the 8th seed, but then you lose and you're not in the playoffs, does your pick then go to the lottery and the team that made the playoff is then in the... Okay. Like, that's how I would think it's done, but I don't know. The NBA could do whatever they want.
They could fuck with things.
Dave, before I bring up the next small talk thing, I just want to say something. This is going to sound very hateful, and I'm sorry, Evan Foxy, if you listen to this, but fuck Evan Foxy, Dave. I did not know about the Foxy curse today because Hamadan was on at a different time, and he picked Virginia, right?
Oh, no.
And I'd already Virginia in most of my parlays because I'm like, dude, they're an upset pick. They should beat Florida State. With about 7 minutes to go, they're down by 20. They ain't covering. So, Evan Foxy, don't fucking bet with them because you might win sometimes, but you'll lose more than you win. And right now, I am feeling the pain in that one. But, Dave, the next one we'll go into small talk here. Andre Drummond. Now, we talked about Drummond already. Will he be traded? Well, apparently sources are saying the Cavs won't play Andre Drummond. We'll try to trade the star center before the deadline.
Raptors had interest.
Dave, I'm looking at this. Was Drummond? I thought Collins was the one that the Raptors had interest on too, unless I saw the wrong name. Otherwise, the next card's going to be completely wrong. But Drummond, I think a trade's coming, Dave. Why would they pull him out and not play him if a trade's not coming?
Because he's been pouting like a bitch. Literally, look at his effort in the first 10 games. He was everything you wanted out of Andre Drummond. He was all effort. And that's what you never get out of Andre Drummond is the motivated Andre Drummond means he's one of the scariest centers in the league because he's got great size, great frame. And when he's got that motor working with him, he's dominant on the boards. He's going to pull down, 18 boards a game, no problem then. But as soon as they trade for Jared Allen, he was like, fuck this place. Not doing it anymore. And that's literally, you saw the don't give a fuck attitude out of him and just clearly shifted to the side. So they don't want him with the team. They don't want him associated with the team. I don't think he's going to be on the team by the end of the season. I think this might be a buyout if they can't find a trade that works for them, which sucks.
Do you still think they don't find a trade? Because I think that's where you were when we talked about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very hard to find a team that has the room because I looked at the Toronto Raptors, who were rumored to be in talks.
Yeah.
In order to get him, they would have to give up so many pieces. It value-wise almost wouldn't work out because of the tertiary pieces included. Yes, you're getting a center, but at what cost? You're giving up a lot of your bench depth of young guys who are on very controllable contracts. So
yeah,
I don't like it unless it's part of a 3-team deal. I saw one float out there where obviously Lowry moving down, Drummond moving up, and another piece moving over. So if you can find something like that, sure, but I'm not sold on the Raptors dream yet.
Yeah. The next card, Dave, and Hawks fans, Raptor fans, don't get mad at me. Thought I read somewhere or saw something in the Discord. Maybe it was Drummond, and I thought it was Collins. Ignore the card completely. But the Johns Collins news that came out over the weekend, Dave, according to Shams, Atlanta has so far sought a high first-round lottery-level pick if they were to move John Collins. He ain't getting moved. I feel like they're
worth the one?
What?
You don't think he's worth the one?
No. I feel like they are setting the price so high that they want a high-round pick, a lottery pick, to where it's almost like the only way he gets moved is if it's in a Christian Wood type of deal type of way, where a team takes him on and is like, fuck it, we'll give up our high-level lottery pick this year in order
because he's worth it. You hope to land someone like John Collins. The problem is the cost.
Is there
you'll be paying John Collins a max deal likely?
Yeah. So
if I'm looking at the lottery right now, Minnesota, Washington, Detroit at the top. Detroit might have their own guy with Sadiq Bey, so probably not looking there. Washington, they just drafted 2 4s in a row with Rui and Denny, so probably not. Minnesota. More offense, no defense. Hey, that fits the theme.
Might lose that pick too if it's outside the top 3.
I'm just doing it in chunks, but yeah, that's a fair point. Minnesota could lose their pick if they fall out of the top 3. So none of the teams at the top doesn't make sense for anyone. We're talking game-changing draft in the top 3. So I would never give up my hold on a top 3 pick. But if you look from the bottom up, New York has a billion fucking power forwards. Not going to do it. I would love it, but they're not going to do it. Memphis.
Mitch Rob just got injured too.
Mitch Rob did get injured, but they have Obi and
the spin cycle.
Julius. Yeah, the spin cycle. Like Memphis, be interesting. Jaren Jackson, when he returns healthy, could he slide to the 5? JV's been a monster though. So like it doesn't seem to fit. Sacramento's got the Bagley experiment. Houston has Wood. OKC. They've got Basley.
I don't know what the fuck their plan is though for like the future.
But that's the problem.
Do they trade for Collins?
None of these teams make sense. Ricky, that's the point I'm getting to is we're working through these teams, and literally outside of Cleveland, none of these teams in the lottery make sense to trade for him. OKC and Cleveland, because Orlando's got their guys. Yeah. Chicago has a guy in Lauri Markkanen who they're probably going to re-sign at this point if he can keep his ass healthy.
Yeah. I mean, Orlando and the Hawks could do a Gordon Collins flip if they wanted to, but if you do that, you're not getting the fucking Orlando pick then because they're giving you Aaron Gordon. I hope I didn't fucking potato there. Let's go ahead and leave that. Rejoin. Dave, I lost you. I have you back. Basically what I'm saying is AG Collins trade. Obviously, you're not going to get Orlando's pick then if that's involved because you're getting AG. You're not going to get AG in the 5th right now.
Yeah, no, I think the only teams in the top, OKC, Cleveland. New Orleans actually is the interesting one. Could John Collins provide them with...
Uh-oh.
Motherfucker,
Ricky. Potato
snow is brutal to internets.
Just go ahead. Do it.
New Orleans, Zion Williamson playing next to a small ball 5, John Collins, could be the mobile big who fits this team because he adds shooting from the outside. He adds some level of defense. I mean, look, Steven Adams has been getting wrecked on the pick and roll. I think Steven Adams obviously was a horrible choice to bring in. I talked about it, and people are like, whoa. You hating Steven Adams? I'll fucking come at you. I'll come at you with my... Like, I got a lot of hate for that, Steven Adams. So I think that's the only one. It's the only one that I think would be interesting because I think the Cavs make sense. I love Nance, but I think John Collins is a straight upgrade.
Yeah. The only team I'm going to throw out, and yet again, it all boils down to can they do this? Would the Warriors be able to trade their basically to where it's like, hey, we will take on John Collins and we will trade you our basically Minnesota pick. So it's like if Minnesota falls out of the top 4, it no longer goes to the Warriors, it goes to the Hawks. That way the Warriors could just sign them, go over the luxury tax, and boom, now they got John Collins on that already stacked team.
That's some smart shit.
Like, that's what I would do. The Warriors. Like, trade that protection to the Hawks if you can. Get John Collins on the team now while he's cheap. Give him a max, go over, because they don't care about going over the luxury tax, because the Warriors actually want to fucking win. And then next year you got Steph, Clay, Wiggins, Collins, and Draymond as your starting 5.
But Ricky, the question is if the Warriors would you rather have pick number 4 or John Collins, or next year's unprotected Timberwolves pick or John Collins?
If I'm the Warriors, I would take John Collins.
You think your window's now to go for it?
Yeah. Well, it's the uncertainty to where it's like first the trade would need to be done by the trade deadline.
Though, Ricky.
It could be a boat.
Could be a boat.
Like you're putting so much worry into it. Like that's the main reason why for the Bulls, it's like, yeah, even if you weren't going to bring Lowry back, like, I don't know, I could win the lottery, get the number 1 pick. Like that's the thing where you don't know what you're at because this trade is not happening at the end of the year because that would be after he has signed the max, and then therefore it's like, shit, now we have to match salaries.
Right sign and trade, cheap, technically.
Basically.
But yeah, it would still hit you.
Yeah. Where this one, you can basically make it work because he's like, what, $9 million?
Oh, yeah.
So make that work. Boom, sign him, go over the luxury tax.
Warriors. Just throw Kelly Oubre in that fucking deal. Get rid of this bum ass.
Get rid of his bum ass. Dave, the very last one, this is college football. I just wanted to make a good point of it. The UFC Knights making a good fucking hire for their football team. I am hyped about Gus Malzahn, old Auburn coach. Dave got fired from Auburn. He's going down to UCF. I love this because for the past few years since Scott Frost was down there and then went to Nebraska, I felt like this has always been like a churned kind of coaching carousel of like, who's their next guy? Malzahn, I think you're getting a Power 5 coach and a Group of 5 type of situation here. Great fucking hire. Can't wait to see what he does with the recruiting scene down there. Wanted to give some love to Gus and the Golden Knights for a great hire. That happened today, late in the cycle, but it happened. And Dave, that does it for our show. Snow or not, we got through it.
You're trying to die on us.
Yeah. Remember, join the Discord if you have not already. That link down below in the Discord, or you can, down below in the description, or you can go to twitch.tv and put exclamation Discord in the Twitch chat. It'll pop up for you. If you want to support us, patreon.com/MVPvids. I said that right? Patreon.com/MVPvids. It's fucking, my brain's mush, Dave. You can also sub to us on Twitch like your boy Cheech did today. Thanks for the sub, and you can get rewarded for it. If you're in the Discord, you can join the watch-alongs now. Your boy Cheech. So ping us, or we'll ping you if you're still watching. Also, we're on Twitch every Monday through Friday, twitch.tv/MVPvids. We're on YouTube at NVP Sports. Dave and I will be back tomorrow. Thank you guys for being as great as you always are, and as always, have a good day, everybody.
WPN.